Hello, so following on from tonight, I'm just going to go over some of the basics that we did. So the first thing that we did was we created a slip knot. A slip knot is done by taking the small end of the yarn and catching it with your thumb, so that the little piece runs down there. Wrapping the yarn around your fingers, so like a lasso. You pull the yarn out a little so that you can put your fingers through the circle and grab that from behind and pull through. Okay. So we're going to put that slip knot onto the end of our hook. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a chain stitch. So a chain stitch is done by putting the yarn over the top of the hook and pulling off this piece of yarn over the top of this piece. So yarn over the hook and pull off. Yarn over the hook, pull off. Like I said earlier on, your hook should always be facing diagonally down. So you're putting your yarn over your hook and you're pulling off. The hook is the thing that should be doing all the work rather than your hands. Your hands, as much as possible, should be remaining as loose as you can. So if you need to put the yarn over the hook and lift the hook, or lift the loop with your two fingers over the top, that's perfectly fine. It's okay for beginners. There's no problem doing it that way. So when you've chained the amount of chains that you need, then what you do is we're going to do our first treble stitch. So our treble stitch is done by putting the yarn over the hook, going into the hole, so the one that's third from the hook, so not the one closest to it, or the next one, or the next one. So we're going to go into this one here. I'm going to put our hook in. Remember to catch both loops. We're going to pull the yarn through that work. You're going to put your yarn over. You're going to take off the middle two stitches, put the yarn over and take off the last two stitches. I'm going to repeat that again. Yarn over, into the hole, pulling the yarn through the hook, the yarn over, taking off two, the yarn over, take off two. And again, if you need to use your fingers for this process, that's perfectly fine. So you pull the yarn through the work so that you create 3 loops, put the yarn over the hook, pull off the middle 2, put the yarn over and pull off the last 2. So again, yarn over the hook, into the hole, pull the yarn through, put the yarn over, take off 2, put the yarn over, take off 2. And again, yarn over the hook, into the hole. So the hole is, see where there's like a smile? So you're putting your hook on top of that smiley face and pulling it through, making sure that there's 2 loops on top at all time. Okay, and again, like I said, if you want to use your fingers, please feel free. So you're going to use them to take off that middle 2, and then you're putting them over again and taking off those last 2. Also, if you want to do it one at a time, so take off 1 loop and then take off the second, the yarn over, take off 1 loop and take off the second. Thank you very much for that one, Katrina. So put the yarn over and into the hole, pull the yarn through, put the yarn over, take off 2, take off 2. And as you can see at this point, I have no more stitches that I can work into. So what I need is I'm going to move on to the next row. So in order to move on to the next row, you always need height. To gain height, we need a chain. So a chain is yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. At this point, you turn your work so it faces the other way. And you can see that this chain is coming out of this hole. So we don't want that one, we want this next hole. And all we're going to do is we're going to put a treble in there. And there we go. And we're going to do that the whole way to the end. So yarn over, into the hole, pull through, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off 2. And like I said, you're just going to repeat that right to the very end. So yarn over, into the hole, pull through, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off 2. And like I say, the whole way right to the very end. So I had mentioned in class about making sure that you work right to the very end so that your edges are straight. For the purpose of the beginners class, as I said, I'm not really worried about whether you're getting straight edges or not. But if you want to do it the right way, when you come to this point, so you've worked this stitch and there's a little gap here. This is your chain stitch from the first row, and you always must finish off by going into that chain stitch. So up at the top, you're going to go into the chain, pull through, yarn over, take off 2, yarn over, take off 2, and that's the end of your second row. And then to go on and create a third row, you just go 1, 2, 3, turn your work around and start working back the ways. Okay, looking forward to seeing you all again next week. Bye bye.